Hi, everyone, and welcome to day 3 of our 21-day mindful movement and breath challenge. Really excited about how you're all doing. I really want to celebrate you for doing this with me. Somebody asked in the comments about what to do for back pain. And so today what I thought I would do is do a really short sequence for when your back kind of hurts and you don't really feel up to standing on one foot or doing anything really mobile. So this whole session will be pretty much laying down. I might sit up for the breathwork part at the very end, but so you can find yourself a comfortable place to lay down. You might want a pillow or something to support your head, or may want to cover up in a blanket, but otherwise you won't need much for today other than a comfortable place to lay down. And once you have all that together, let's get started. So we're going to start on our back. And to begin with, finding a comfortable way to lay on your back. Now, if you do have a sore back right now, sometimes it can be really helpful to have something to bolster under your legs with. You might want to have a pillow or two for under your knees. If you don't have that, or you don't feel like getting up to get it, you can always just keep the knees bent and not straighten them out so that your back can feel nice and comfy. And once you feel like you're in a nice, comfortable position on your back, let's take a bit of time to come into mindfulness. Maybe taking another 2 breaths and really allowing yourself to fully arrive into this moment. And just if this resonates for you, we could go back to the question we worked with on day 2, which is the question, how do you want to feel? It could be a question for the moment. How do you want to feel in this moment, right now? And sometimes the answer is like, I just want to feel what I'm feeling. I want to connect with what's here and now and natural and normal. And that's also really great. And I completely celebrate that. And if it's something like, oh, I'd really like to feel more connected to myself, or I'd really love to feel peace. If you find a word and or you can pare it down into 1 or 2 words, then let's begin with taking a bit of time to breathe in and out normally and smoothly. And with each breath, repeating your words. Really noticing how that is for you to say the word with your breath. I also want to name that sometimes if we begin with a word by the end of the session, it's changed. And so, really feel free to do your own thing or choose different words as we go. Anything I say is only a suggestion, and I really trust that you'll choose what's right for you. We'll get into a little bit of movement next. So for this movement, this is a great one for the lower back. And what we'll do is bring the feet about mat width apart. You can vary that though, so feel free to try a couple different foot positions where you feel like the feet have a good space between them. And what we'll do is just let the knees move side to side really gently. Imagine your legs as like the windshield washer on your car, and they're just gonna sway back and forth. Feel free to try out a couple different foot positions to get to where it feels really good. You can go wider or closer together. Is there a way to allow this side to side sway be even more like 1% more smooth and even? And then when it feels complete, you can keep the feet wide, but let the knees rest into each other. Take a breath here. And then just allowing the body to go into a bit of a pendiculation. How this works is we invoke a yawn. So if you imagine you're just waking up in the morning and you're yawning, and the body just kind of all by itself does a little contract and reach. If your back's already a little sore, it might be wise to keep those movements subtle and gentle. And it feels great to make them big. And they'll do great big yawn stretches. And then when that feels complete, we'll bring the knees up and hug them into the chest. And little tiny, subtle rocking side to side here. Just like with the nose circles, can you do the side to side motion of the knees as small as possible? The knees might even be moving into tiny circles, or it might just be back and forth. But the idea is just to kind of gently, gently rock with really tiny, small movements. But really go with what feels good for you here. You know that I celebrate your body's wisdom. So whatever you're choosing to do, I am cheering you on. And then when your subtle rocking feels complete, we're going to bring the feet back down. This time the feet will be a little closer together than last time, maybe hip width apart or so, arms out to the sides. And we'll be going into a little bit of a rebound. So you're going to use your feet as the lever, and then you're going to let the body rock into an up and down pattern. You can always look over at me if you're not sure, or if you know this one, just go ahead and close your eyes and enjoy. These subtle rocking motions are really helpful for the nervous system to regulate. We'll do this for about 30 more seconds. And if you notice that you take a regulating breath, or you find yourself swallowing or yawning, it's a really good sign that that exercise is beginning to work on your nervous system in positive ways. When that feels complete, what we're going to do is we're going to take our right foot and we're going to make that figure 4 shape. So we're going to bring the right ankle just below the left knee. And we're going to sway back and forth here very subtly, just a side to side rock. For those of you who don't have back pain right now and you want a little bit more movement, you can make these movements a little bit bigger, so kind of almost more comparable to the windshield washer movement. You can look at me if you're not sure. So these movements can kind of start to begin to become into a bit of a supine twist. But when your back is a little bit irritated, or it's a little bit, feeling a bit cranky, The subtler movements tend to work a bit better. So I'll leave it up to you to decide. And then when that feels complete, bringing your foot back down to your mat. And here we're going to go into our rebound again before switching sides. So using the feet as levers and up and down, letting the body come into that subtle rocking, that sort of vertical rebound. And easy. And then when that feels complete, maybe take a moment to come into stillness and take a breath here. Anything changed? And I have kind of a different way of working with pain and discomfort, probably the most, but what I often like to do, especially if I'm working through some kind of body discomfort, is to continue to talk to it through the whole sequence. If your back is a little bit cranky today, to really let it know I'm here. I'm here to help. Thank you for protecting me. Or just whatever comes to you. To just be really kind to your body. And of course, only if that resonates. And then we're going to take the left foot up so the left ankle comes just below that right knee. And you may need to shimmy around a little bit to get the just right shape of the legs where it feels good and comfortable. Of course, when the back is cranky, it's almost nothing but truly comfortable, but as comfortable as you can. And then again, just a real subtle rocking side to side. And if you want more, you can always do those rocking side to side movements a little bit bigger. You'll know. Just trusting the body. Whenever we do a movement like this in mindfulness, I always find that less is more. So if you're ever a little worried about moving too much or too fast, see how it might be to invoke even 5% more mindful awareness and go smaller with your movement, but turn your mindfulness up. So if there was a volume on your mindfulness quality, can you turn the volume up on that and have your movements be even smaller? Kind of a fun challenge. When that feels complete on left leg, let's bring both feet to the mat and do our vertical rebound. And now you can option here, you can keep the left leg bent or you can straighten it. So right foot or right leg is going to come up. I'm going to hug the right leg in. So hugging that right leg into the chest. You can keep left leg bent or straighten it. And here we're going to draw some tiny knee circles with the right leg. Just like with the nose circles, can you make them as small as possible? The circles might not feel quite right. You might want to just do a back and forth type of movement, or even a semicircle can be really nice to take the knee in toward the chest and then lift a little bit toward the other shoulder. Be like a half circle, half moon, or it can be a full circle. It can be just a side to side sway. And really feel in here to any subtle sensations around that right hip. The real trick with this one is, again, less is more. And if you can create the smallest amount of sensation possible, which might mean micro movements, and with the smallest amount of sensation, can you find a really good pocket of sensation and then hold there? And breathe into it until the sensation goes away completely, until it melts. I wish to do that for 2 or 3 different pockets of sensation all along this range of movement here. That tiny sensation breathing into it until it goes away completely. Just imagine if that sensation is going away, that the fascia is melting, softening, all your tissues are hydrating, hopefully getting a little bit happier. And then you can bring the right leg back to straight. Now, if you're choosing straight legs, we can do a ankle pump or a side-to-side rebound. So the ankle pump, you're just moving the feet up and down. So instead of the whole bottom of your foot being your lever, it's just the heel that is your lever. You can also do a side-to-side rock here too, which is also kind of nice. I'll let you choose. If you're doing the legs bent version, you can just go back to the vertical rebound. Okay, let's do that same thing on the left leg. So either right leg bent or straight, I'll let you choose. Other leg's gonna come up. And here what we wanna do is just get, again, that either the tiny knee circles or the half moon, half circles, or just a side to side, whichever way you choose. You're probably, whatever you're doing is probably right. So go with it. And then again, you're tracking for a little pocket of sensation that feels really good. Sometimes I almost track it as it feels necessary. It's like, this is the place. And if you find that, great. Go into the subtlest sensation, breathe into it until it softens and goes away. So the sensation will kind of, at least it'll decrease in intensity. It might not go away completely, but till you feel that kind of reduction in, like, the sensation is turning down the volume and it's getting less and less. And we can imagine that the fascia is melting. You can feel free to do that for a few different spots along the left hip this time. And lastly, going into your vertical rebound one more time. If you're comfortable with the legs straight, sometimes this is just not the best position for if the low back's a bit cranky, so really leave this out if that's not right for your body. If it is okay, you can do the ankle pump rebound, which can be really fun. Another variation of this is to have your feet into a wall, and you can still then use the feet as your pump and get the motion going from the feet. All right, let's go into our breath work. So option here, you can lay on your back and just relax and do your breath work on your back. You can also sit if you feel like you're tired now of laying down and you want to sit up in a chair or sit up on the floor. You can do that. I'm going to demo it seated, but really now you have that option. So feel free to go with what is the right way for you to be right now. And what I want to do is a little bit of the beginnings of a breath of fire breath. So how this one works is we do the exhale with a little bit more effort, and the inhale is more passive. So just before we even start tracking that breathing in and out normally. So typically, like if we look at the diaphragm itself, the effort tends to be more on the inhale, and the exhale, the diaphragm's just relaxing back to neutral. So what we're doing is changing that around, and you can maybe track for that. So when you inhale, as far as the diaphragm is concerned, it's moving down to give space to the lungs. And then when you exhale, it's just kind of relaxing back up. You can just feel inhaling and exhaling as we did on day one, and just that exhale, letting the breath fall out of your body. Can you let the exhale be even 5% less effort each time? And then what the breath of fire does is we start to increase the effort on the exhale, and we let the inhale be the passive one. So the exhale will be a little, pull those belly muscles in toward my spine, but let's keep it really light. This is only day 3. So how it would look is, just kind of just pull in quick. And then when you're inhaling, you just like we did with the exhale, but now we're doing it on the inhale. So we inhale and just let the belly go. That's it. So that's 3. We just did 3 breath of fires. And what I'll invite you to do, and again, if this isn't comfortable for your back right now, feel free to not do it at all. Just go to the same belly breathing we did on day 1. They inhale and exhale to allow the abdominal muscles to effortless. The breath of fire, though, because it has a real great toning effect on the abdominal musculature and can also help to train the diaphragm, it can be helpful for back pain. So it can be a really useful one to do. Always important to bite-size these things. So if you do 3 today and that's it, that's great. If you are comfortable with it and you want to do more, what we'll do is 3 sets of 3. So we'll do 3 more, and then we'll rest, and then we'll do 3 more. Okay, so when you're ready. And then breathing normally. Breathing. Always when you come to the end of a little breathwork practice, it can always be so nice to just take 30 seconds or a minute and let yourself drift in the after effect. So in whatever little subtle changes took place in your nervous system or in your mind, to take a bit to get curious about that. What's changed? Really notice what that's like. And before we close, let's go back to our word just for a minute. If you're finishing up your practice, there's some tracking your body and your mind, really noticing how it is to be in your skin right now. And what happens now when you say your word, maybe 3, maybe 4 times. Okay, giving yourself lots of space between each repetition of the word to really notice. How is it now to take that in? And feel free to stay here longer and continue a couple more repetitions of the breath of fire. Or if you're complete, then I will say namaste, my friends, to you again, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day.